Hello, 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 and a good day to you and to you.
Oh, thanks, mate.
How are you?
Well, I'm just fine. How about you?
You sound a little funny.
What do you mean?
How you were talking. Mate? What is mate?
Well, Sheila, you're up to now.
What's that?
Sheila?
Sheila? Who is Sheila?
That's a girlfriend.
Oh, Sheila means girlfriend?
Yeah.
What language are you talking?
And the mate means a friend.
Mate means a friend.
Right.
What language is that?
G'day.
What?
G'day.
G'day?
G'day.
What's g'day?
Good day is how you would probably say it.
That's just what I said. Good day. What are you saying?
G'day. You know, it's Australian, Miss Mike. Miss Sarah, I played a trick on you, didn't I?
You sure did. I was confused.
Well, I just thought, the last time I saw you, you were talking about the oceans and traveling, and it just brought back memories.
You've been to Australia, haven't you?
Mm-hmm.
Will you tell us about it in a little while?
Yeah, someday.
Good. I'd like that. Would you like to read some letters now?
Oh, boy, yeah.
Let's do that.
Yes, ma'am. This is from Jacqueline and Jeremy Holcomb in Leesburg, Alabama.
There's a picture.
That's for you.
How nice. I like that. Let's see what this is.
Dear Tyro, I'm in the 3rd grade. I watch your show every day. But if I am crease, 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 wrinkle, 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 your show, I have only missed, I've seen your show every day except I've missed 4 times. I still watch you on your show, but I live too far away. Or I want to be on your show. I love you, Jacqueline Holcomb.
Nice. And then we have another one.
Wow. That's me.
That's you. Let's see what the letter says.
Dear Tyro, I love you. I like your shows. I wish I could be on your show, but I live too far away. My name is Jeremy Dwayne Holcomb. I am 8. That's it.
8, yes.
Oh, I love you. So, me too.
And Jacqueline was 8. And Jeremy is 8.
Jacqueline? Jeremy. That's a clue.
I think.
Me too.
I think they must be twins.
Me too.
I bet they are. How very nice. How about another letter?
All right. This one's from a heart. Oh, from Rachel Watson in Odenville, Alabama.
She does have lots of hearts on it, doesn't she?
Yeah.
Ooh, she's got a big heart
Ooh.
on the inside.
Ooh, Rachel loves Tyro.
And more little hearts on the letter.
Ooh. Dear Tyro, my name is Rachel Watson. I'm 11 years old and I live in Argo, Alabama. It is 7 miles from Trussville. I really love you, Tyro. I watch your show every day on TV at my big sister Mary's house. Her son James Nix watches sometimes too, when he's not working with his dad. He is 13 years old. Could you send me an autographed picture of you to me? I will put it in my bedroom wall over my bed if you will send me one. I have got to go now, but remember, Tyro, I will always love you, and you will always be my friend. Love, Rachel Watson. P.S. Mail comes to Odenville, but I live in the city of Argo. How nice to be proud of your city.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And Argo is a very old, old, old name, isn't it?
I don't know. No.
Back from Greece, the Argonauts.
Oh, yeah.
Very old.
Oh, yeah.
Very. Almost.
That was nice.
Yeah.
If anybody else wants to send me an old letter, they can.
All right, give us the address.
Well, all they have to do is send it to Old Tyro. That's Tyro, P.O. Box 443, Huntsville, Alabama 35804. That's an old address, too.
It is. And you have some old friends here.
Yeah.
Friends who've written you before, like Miranda.
Yeah. Hi, Miranda. I'm glad you could come.
Thank
You didn't ride a horse, did you?
you. No.
Yeah, I know. I knew that. You didn't come in an airplane either, did you?
No.
Yeah, I knew that. You used your own 2 legs, didn't you?
No.
No? She get here by magic?
No, I think she used another method of transportation.
Bicycle?
No.
Roller skate? The mailman brought you...
No.
Oh, well, I give up.
How did you come, Miranda?
I rode in a car.
Well, that's how I got here.
Of course, that's how she came. And she brought friends with her.
Terrific.
There's Vanessa.
Hi, Vanessa.
Hi.
Gosh, these are nice friends.
Yes, sir. And Misty.
Misty, how are you? I want to tell you something in just a minute.
All right, and Tyler.
Hi, Ty. Ty and Ty.
Ty and Ty.
Wow. These children all eat bullets. These children all eat bullets.
Do you eat bullets?
No. No.
Then how did your hair grow out in bangs, 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 bangs?
You're playing a joke again.
Yeah, well, it just... yeah, well, but it... yeah, well, yes.
You did.
Yeah.
Well, when you went to Australia, how did you get there?
Oh, my goodness, I went on a big, gigantic airplane.
You did.
Well, several big, gigantic airplanes.
Is there any other way you could get there?
You could go by boat or submarine, but it would take you a long time. Because I had to go a long way.
You did.
Yeah.
Well, let's see if we can look at this globe a minute. I see the United States. Do you see the United States? It's all in yellow. Can you see on there just about where you live? Are you familiar enough with the map to know that Alabama is right there?
Okay. Now you take your finger all the way across the United States going west.
Okay, now we're in California.
Okay, from San Francisco, California,
That's right up here.
we flew in the night to Honolulu, Hawaii.
Let's see if we can find that. I bet that's right there.
Okay. Then we flew all night long and went down, 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 down,
Down, down, down.
and went across a line you can't see. And
Let's
another
see,
day
right
happened
there's a line, and you went right down to where?
to Cairns, Australia.
And it took how many days on the airplane?
Well, it took hours, hours, hours. But I lost a day. I gained a day, or I lost a day. I mean, it wasn't the same day as I was in when I took off.
That's hard to understand, isn't it?
Yeah.
But what about this line in the middle of the globe? You
There's
passed the line?
There's a line. There's 2 lines. There's the equator,
There's the equator.
and there's something called the international date line.
That's right here, I believe.
And things are different on the other side of the equator, Miss Sarah.
They're different. Things are different on the other side of the
Mhm.
equator, down on this side of the globe.
Mhm.
How are they different?
Well, when I left Huntsville, it was hot. When I got to Australia, it was cool.
Why?
Because we were just starting our summer, and they were starting their fall.
You mean something happens when you pass the equator?
Mm-hmm.
And when it's spring up here,
Mm-hmm.
it's fall down here?
Mm-hmm.
And when it's winter down here, it's summer up here?
Mm-hmm.
Is that right?
Mm-hmm.
Did you know that?
And water doesn't go the same way.
It doesn't. How does
I
it
mean,
go?
Do you know if you ever put water in your sink and watch it go down the drain? It goes this way. But down there it goes that way.
For goodness sakes.
Yeah, just things are interesting all over the world.
Oh my goodness. Well, let me talk a little bit about how we can get different places. You said we could either go by ship or submarine or plane.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Here's some other things you can use to travel, but not to Australia. Big yellow trolley lumbers along. Long black subway sings an undersong. Airplanes swoop and flash in the sky. Noisy old elevated goes rocketing by. Boats across the water, back and forth they go. Big boats and little boats, fast boats and slow. Trains puff and thunder. Their engines have a headlight. They have a special kind of car where you can sleep all night. Tall, fat buses on the avenue. They will stop for anyone, even just you. All kinds of autos rushing down the street. And then there are always your own 2 feet.
Yeah. That's a fun way to travel, but you get tired.
You do. That's true. Let's celebrate. You're going to Australia and flying on a plane?
Yeah, and I wouldn't even put in a box.
You weren't. You got to see the whole world.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I know a song about that. And I'll sing it for you. You can sing it too if you want to. Let's take a trip on a plane. We hear all the engines roar, and then the plane begins to soar. Let's take a trip on a plane. Let's take a trip on a plane. And fly all the way to Australia.
Be prepared.
Let me ask you a question, since you seem to know so much about this world of ours. I'll bring us back to the United States where we live. What if we went the other way? And we went down and we went this way and we crossed the equator and we went into Africa. Would it be summer there when it's winter here?
Well, where's your line?
There's the equator, middle of the earth.
Well, I'm sorry. It stays kind of warm on the equator.
It does.
Yeah.
And then you go on down, and when it's winter in the United States, it's summer in South Africa.
Yes.
And when it's spring in the United States, it's fall in South Africa.
It's just the opposite of us.
Well, right now it is fall in Alabama. What is it like in South Africa?
It's beginning to warm up.
And be spring?
Mm-hmm. Things are beginning to grow, and trees sprout their leaves, flowers bloom.
How very interesting.
And everything here is beginning to go to sleep and to rest for the winter.
Well, I brought a book, and it's just perfect for that, because it's about a little boy working on the other side of the line, the equator, and he's getting ready for spring, and he's got a spring garden. I bet that's what they're doing right now.
Oh, hurry up and read it, Miss Sarah. Good morning's work. But his tool doesn't look like anything I've seen the farmers use.
Well, it's a spade, I think. Let's find out.
All right.
Mitsuo Yamada leaned on his hoe. It's a hoe. And he sighed deeply. It will be a long, long day, he said to himself. Mitsuo, Mitsuo, have you started to clear the weeds? His father called. Hurriedly, Mitsuo raised the hoe and called out, I have begun, father. Mitsuo looked at the hoe as it sank into the soft brown earth. I have begun, he said to himself. Pulling as hard as he could, he cut a long brown furrow through the green of the weeds. Again, Mitsuo lifted the hoe, but instead of chopping among the weeds, he dropped the hoe and knelt. When he parted the grass and looked at where a spider had spun its web, he found some leaves of a milkweed. The night dew had caught on the threads, and each drop shone like a small sun. Mitsuo, I am cutting weeds, father, Mitsuo called as he raised the hoe and let it fall. One milkweed cannot matter, Mitsuo said to himself, and I would like to see 100 suns every morning. Carefully he cut other plants away until the milkweed stood alone, its webs shining with its many suns. Mitsuo, I have begun, father. And the hoe rose and fell, rose and fell. Croak! Mitsuo stopped and listened. He heard nothing except the sounds of morning. He raised the hoe. Croak! Again I have heard a frog, said Mitsuo. How can that be? A pond is not here. Where the willow dips its leaves is where the frog should sing. Croak! Mitsuo again raised his hoe. He did not raise it to chop weeds. He held it just high enough to part the weeds so that he could see what was hidden beneath them. There was a puddle of water, but it was not big enough for a big frog. It was just big enough for a frog until it grew pond large. There must be a frog, said Mitsuo, for did I not hear its song? Why is there no frog to be seen? Croak! Mitsuo looked as hard as he could, and then he saw the frog. Its big eyes were shining up at Mitsuo. Croak! Frog, sir, said Mitsuo, you are in the Yamada vegetable garden. If you stay in your water, from where will come the Yamada vegetables when summer is here? Croak, said the frog. Of course, Mitsuo said. If I did not eat carrots every Tuesday, we would not need to plant so many. Then you could stay in your own pond. Croak, said the frog. I will do this, said Mitsuo. He pulled the hoe back and let the weeds close over the frog's home. Then Mitsuo worked hard to cut away the weeds, but he left enough of them to hide the puddle where the frog lived. Mitsuo leaned on his hoe. How fine it looks, he said. It is like a marsh where the best frogs are to be found. Croak, said the frog. Mitsuo! I am working, father. Mitsuo's hoe went up and down, up and... Mitsuo stopped again. He looked at the blue and yellow and orange and violet flowers. It didn't matter that they were flowering weeds. They were flowers to Mitsuo, and over the flowers there was the humming sound of bees. Mitsuo! Mitsuo! His father called. Mitsuo did not answer. Mitsuo! I'm doing what I should do, father. But Mitsuo's hoe did not cut into the field of flowers. I cannot cut the flowers now, Mitsuo said to himself. The bees must have nectar to make their honey. It would not be good for the Yamadas to go without honey this winter. Would it not be better to leave the flowers for the bees? But if I leave the flowers, will there be enough land left for the vegetables? Mitsuo looked at the garden. There will be enough, he said. Anyway, I can always give up spinach on Wednesday. Mitsuo! I am working, father. And he was. Mitsuo pretended that he was a machine. He cut his way through the weeds, leaving rows of brown earth. But what machine could stop and see what Mitsuo saw? Could a machine see the butterfly that had just come from its chrysalis? Could a machine watch the butterfly unfold its wings to the drying warmth of the sun? Never had a boy been as careful as Mitsuo Yamada. His hoe tiptoed about the plant. Not even the loudness of a shadow fell across the butterfly. The butterfly moved its wings to the feel of the air, but it did not notice Mitsuo. When Mitsuo saw how many weeds he had left, he shook his head and said to himself, "It is much too much. I will have to cut down more weeds. The butterfly will fly away, but there will be other butterflies." Just then sunlight showed each color of the butterfly's wings. "No," Mitsuo shook his head. "There will be many butterflies, but there never will be another one like this. I will work twice as fast and twice as hard as before. Then it will not matter how many weeds I have left." And he did his work twice as fast and twice as hard. He was working so fast that he might not have seen the nest in the grass if he hadn't been a boy. It was the smallest of nests, and in it was a tiny speckled bird. The bird did not fly off, but feathered large against its fear of Mitsuo. I will not hurt your eggs. You are the bravest of birds. From the eggs in your nest will hatch eagles. Tweet, said the bird. No, no, little bird, said Mitsuo. They will not be real eagles. Like you, they will be small speckled birds. And that it can be so, I, Mitsuo Yamato, will not break apart your nest. Tweet, said the bird. Mitsuo! I am working, father. The bird's bright eyes followed Mitsuo as he chopped around and around its nest. The weeds fell under his hoe until a band of cleared ground lay between the bird and Mitsuo. When the bird saw that Mitsuo did not mean to harm it, it flew about Mitsuo's head as if to thank him, and then it returned to the 4 blue eggs lying in its nest. That is right, said Mitsuo. To receive without thanks is not to be worthy of favors. Mitsuo bowed to the bird. Mitsuo! Mitsuo lifted his hoe. I am working, father. Come, it is time to eat. Mitsuo was always ready to eat. He put the hoe over his shoulder and started to leave the field, but before he left he turned once to look at all that he had done. There was the milkweed where the web had caught 100 suns. There was the land that was cleared, except where the frog had made a pond of its own from a rain puddle. There in the middle of the cleared earth some flowers grew, busy with bees. And there was the butterfly. Mitsuo would remember its wings in the sunlight long after it had flown away. Tweet, said the bird as it flew around Mitsuo. Mitsuo nodded his head. It was a good morning's work, he said. A good morning's work indeed.
Well, I'd like to work with him.
I think I would too. He saves precious things as well as clears the land for the garden.
But that was a most peculiar-looking hoe.
Yes, it was. It was.
That must be because he was in a different country.
I imagine so. You get different things in different countries, don't you?
Mm-hmm.
Did you bring some interesting things from Australia?
Well, look behind you and see if you can pull that big, long wood thing up.
My goodness, it's heavy.
You know what that's made from?
No, what is it, Tyler?
A tree.
A tree?
Mm-hmm. And then charcoal is dropped down on the inside to burn it out so you can see through it. And you see the snake on there, Miss Sarah?
I see it.
Okay, that's from the snake clan.
The snake what?
Clan.
The snake
I'm going to call it snake clan. I don't want to say snake tribe, but these are the family of the snakes, and they speak a different language from you.
They do?
Mm-hmm.
There's something written right next to the snake.
That's an autograph.
Mm.
That's by Dwura, Black Bamboo.
D-W-U-R-A.
Yes, ma'am. He was an Aborigine. And if you, Miss Sarah, just put your lips together and relax them and just blow through them. No, make them, Okay. If you put your mouth over that hole and do that, you might be able to play.
Right here?
Put your mouth in the hole. Oh, Miss Sarah, your whole mouth in the hole. Take a deep breath and blow those lips. Make the lips softer and you're almost there. Relax your lips. Oh, but you're almost there. They could play all different kinds of things through this.
They could.
And make it sound like kangaroos were jumping.
This is a musical instrument?
By the Aborigine of Australia. The men play this.
How very interesting.
And the women don't. That's probably why you can't play it.
That must be why.
But there are some sticks behind you on the ground that are burnt also with charcoal or hot wood to make designs. Can you see those back there?
Sticks, yes.
Now, the rubber bands they didn't have, because they don't have rubber bands in the outback. But if you take them apart, Those are about the only things that the women play for musical instruments.
These are musical instruments that the women play in Australia, the Aborigines.
That means the natives of the land. And you know what men also play? They're boomerangs. Those boomerangs that you see, they clack those boomerangs together and make rhythm out of it. And instead of clapping when they're happy or clapping when they like what you've done, they strike their boomerangs together.
Well, tell me about this. Did you say this was burned in here?
Yes,
This
ma'am.
pattern is burned by fire?
Yes, ma'am. A hot stick or sometimes even a hot rock.
And they will put that hot stick against the wood and it will burn it for a minute?
Yeah, you know, kids have a kit, sometimes a present they get, sometimes it's called wood burning, and they have a hot metal point that burns into the wood. So you can make designs that way.
That's very nice. I like that. Have you got something else down
Yeah,
here?
there's a little case with a little bird in it. You can take the bird out.
Okay.
And you know the song that goes with that bird.
What is it?
That's a kookaburra bird. I mean, that's not the real thing. That's what he looks like.
Kookaburra sits in the old oak tree.
Gum tree.
Gum tree, not an oak tree.
Mary, Mary King of the bushes, he has
Sing,
the funniest
kookaburra,
laugh.
sing, kookaburra.
Gay
So
you like me.
that's a kookaburra from Australia.
Yes, ma'am. Now, the kiwi bird you don't see because he's a night bird. Most of the birds are night things. I never heard so many just like that, all
Excuse
night
me?
long, birds singing.
And what about this?
That is a French army hat that the Australian soldiers wear when they're at war. And it really keeps your head cool when you're in the jungles and fighting in the hot, 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 hot places.
So Australians wear hats like this, or the French did when they were there.
The Australian soldiers did. I couldn't get a hat that the Australians wear because, gosh almighty, it costs a lot of money. And it's made out of, well, the sheep people wear it and the cattle people wear it, and it keeps the sun off your head.
We're going to have to stop right here, even though I want to learn more about Australia.
Well,
But
that's okay.
you can tell us another time,
Yeah,
can't you?
yeah.
We got to go.
Bye-bye.
Thank you so much for being here today, and thank you for sharing all these things with us. Did you have a good time? I did. I'll see you next time on Grunches and Grins.